I just wanted to use this time to briefly speak to the schools that are currently paused right now, and as to why they're, a few weeks ago, the mayor, and I don't have much of a substantive update to this point. However, when I do, I would ensure to bring that to this board, especially as it pertains to the progress of school construction. A few weeks ago, the mayor did go out with a press conference along with other agencies to speak to the plan to ensure that there is a partnership moving forward as we look at a comprehensive understanding of our physical space, the schools that exist within Hartford, and what construction looks like, or um, or what physical space looks like for the future. Yeah, I had to use this moment to at least, draw a little bit of attention to that, because that directly affects whether or not, or when we, I should say, when we move forward with construction. And it certainly depends on what this comprehensive plan looks like and the outcome and the results of that plan. Um, so I I don't have much of a substantive update, but I ensure that this board, as I receive those updates, and especially when it relates to the progress of construction, I would be sure to speak to those updates in this forum. Ms. Brody.
Thank you. So what you described is, I don't think it's totally accurate. The mayor had a press conference with a few folks standing behind him, and he's trying to get some type of team together to, I can't even articulate what he's trying to do, but put together a plan. At the very most, his only thing he can do with his plan is present it to the Hartford Board of Education, because all that he's doing, he doesn't have the authority to. He doesn't have the authority to close schools. He doesn't even have the authority to pause construction. So what my demand is actually today is, because no one has been able to, Corp Council has not been able to provide anything to state that he has the authority to pause. So the demand today from me as the chair of the Hartford Board of Education is that we resume construction. We're sitting around, we're waiting for a plan that does not, we're waiting on a plan that he doesn't even have a meeting for, but at the very most, his plan is something he can just present to the Board of Ed. He can't do anything concerning Hartford Public Schools. So why would we, the governing body of school construction, be waiting on a plan that we don't even know what it's going to say? It wasn't articulated clearly in any kind of way. And this has been going on month after month. This is the governing body. And because we did not pause the construction should be continuing.
I appreciate your comments, Ms. Browder. We do have Ms. Mazurek on the line, who spoke to, per your request, Ms. Brody, points of authority as it relates to the different entities when it comes to school construction. I could ask Ms. Mazurek to expound on that. However, I'm not sure that would be the best use of this particular time. I do hear your request loudly, Ms. Browdy, and I will take it under her advisement. And I'm unsure if that's a continued raise hand or if it's
I don't know. I don't understand what you're saying right now. Yeah, I don't understand what you're saying right now, because this is the perfect meeting and place to discuss this, because this is the body that governs construction. The mayor does not. You're here representing the city. Councilman Clark is here representing the city. A few others appointed however they got here, but the mayor single-handedly does not have that authority. School construction starts and stops by a vote of city council, by the Boulder Board of Ed, and by a vote of this body. None of those bodies have revisited this situation. The mayor does not have the authority. It has not been pointed out. Actually, Corp Council is sitting on another request because no one can say it because he does not have the authority, because if he did, they would have clearly pointed that out by now. It's been month after month. So I'm asking for, because he does not have that authority, for construction to be resumed.
Yeah, Ms. Browder, your comments are stated in a way that perhaps make it seem factual what you're saying, but every movement that we're making is not without corporation council's input, which certainly guides, let me finish, which certainly guides how we move forward. So perhaps it is best then to give the floor to Ms. Meserick, who I believe addressed the authority question the last meeting that we had, or perhaps it was a prior meeting. So I'll ask Ms. Lori Meserick, who is the deputy counsel for the city, to speak a bit to that.
Yeah, I think I would just reiterate that what was prepared regarding the requests with respect to the various roles that each of the entities plays is what my office thus far has provided with respect to the pause on the construction projects. And so I don't really have much more to say than what is contained in that memorandum and what has been shared with all members of this group. You know, if there are follow-up questions, then they can certainly be directed to our office. But that, you know, that is the scope of what has been presented thus far.
Thank you, Ms. Meserick. And I'll just add, I'll say that, you know, the goal of this is to certainly ensure that we are moving forward in a comprehensive way, because we face deficits every year, and our schools aren't 100% filled that currently exist. And, you know, as we're looking at construction projects, we would like to ensure that there's a comprehensive plan as we look to build more / renovate, I should say, not just build. Okay.
Can I speak to the memo? Because the memo does not give the mayor the authority to single-handedly stop construction. So if we want to refer to the memo, we can. I've already sent follow-up, which has not been answered in 2 weeks. And I think what you're missing is that the mayor does not have the authority to do anything concerning our schools. And if we look at the memo doesn't align with the Connecticut General Statutes. If we look, we can't pretend here and we can't say, oh, we want to look out for the best interest. None of our schools are 100% filled. Nobody's school in the greater Hartford area that takes Hartford kids, none of their schools are 100%. What the mayor is doing is hurting enrollment. He's not helping. But I'm going to stand on the fact that he does not have the authority. The memo doesn't say he does, and Corp Counsel is not coming out directly saying he does, because he does not. So why are we paused? Because everything he's trying to exercise is under the jurisdiction of the Hartford Board of Education.
Well, Ms. Brody,
as far
I'll
as
take
his planning.
I didn't realize you weren't finished. Please, Ms. Brody.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Thank you. I will take your comments under advisement. I mean, I'll give Corporation Counsel to a moment to speak if there is a response to that. Otherwise, I think it's best to I'll take your comments. Please know that they're well received, and I will take other questions if you have any, or if the board has any.
No, I'm not asking a question. I'm making a demand. There's a difference because this is the only board, all of us sitting here, that has the authority to pause construction, which we did not do. The mayor did. He does not sit on this board, and you're representing him, and you don't even have a vote on this board. So if somebody can't answer for me right now or show me where he has that authority, which has not been done, we should not be paused.
Okay, perhaps then it's worth a follow-up for Corporation Counsel. Again, what I will emphasize is that we are not moving forward in a way that is we continue to move forward in a way that is above board and with legal counsel. So, Shantae, everything you're mentioning opposes that that basis point, and perhaps it's worth a discussion and a conversation with Corporation Counsel, because every single thing you're mentioning, and that's why I keep saying that I will take your comments under advisement, is in opposition to what has been determined by the Corporation Counsel office.
I think you're repeating stuff, but you're not hearing me, and you're not responding to what I am actually saying. I'm not asking you to take anything under advisement. How do we add? Am I able to make a motion, or how do we add something to the agenda? Because this is getting absolutely ridiculous in what we're doing, and we're listening to someone who does not sit in this body.
I'm unsure what you mean, Ms. Brody, with respect to.
Because you can't pause construction without it coming through here. So how are you doing it? That's my question.
Miss Masery?
The mayor has the ability, right, to take any action that will move forward towards the consummation of the school building project, right? That's outlined in the memo. So I think that's where the authority is coming from with respect to what is happening here. And so I that is where we are. And if, Ms. Brody, if there are additional questions that you'd like us to review, we can do that.
We've already we've already sent you correspondence that you haven't responded to.
Well, that's not entirely fair. You've sent correspondence. It's been provided to the Corporation Counsel. It is being reviewed.
For 2 weeks?
It's being reviewed.
Because I just feel like you guys are stalling, trying to roll a rock down the road when you know this is not in procedure.
Well, I can assure you from where I sit, there's no stalling on my part or this office's part. So know that, and you can take that however you want it, but I can assure you that.
Thank you, Ms. Measure.
I've definitely taken it. If we ask a simple question and we point out in the Connecticut general statutes pertaining to school boards, we pointed out why the mayor does not have the authority. And it's a simple question. Show us that he does, that fits in these statutes. And it's been over 2 weeks and it's been no response from Corp Counsel. So that's pretty simple to respond to.
I think, with just I appreciate that you think it's simple, but I don't know that it is so simple. And so I don't want you to believe or think that, a 2-week period going by where you're not getting a response has anything other to do than the fact that it's being reviewed, as well as all of our other work is being reviewed. And there's no reason for that 2-week period other than just that.
Thank you, Ms. Mezerick. I will say that we are not moving forward in a way that is in opposition from what the Corporation Council recommends based off of review. And in this particular case, that happens to affect the projects to which there is no point in. We're not. The stalling is, I feel like, is also an unfair word. I keep emphasizing the fact that we are ensuring that there is a comprehensive look at a path forward, and that is ultimately the goal. And we are here. We are here right now, taking Ms. Browdy's comments, and I think we'll ensure that your comments are responded to, and we plan to. And as Ms. Mezerick said, it is being reviewed for a response. Ms. Browdy.
You're saying that every single month, and months are passing by, and Hartford residents are not at work. A stall on kids getting the appropriate buildings that they deserve. So the mayor has this imaginary idea of what schools should be, while he also doesn't have a desire to really learn about Hartford Public Schools. There already has been a study done. That's how we got the state approval for the construction. We've done all that. So what you're saying, it sounds crazy to me, because all the things you're saying needs to be done, all of those things have been done. And again, I don't know how we're operating in these spaces and we're not referring to the general statutes that we should be operating under in the state of Connecticut concerning education, boundaries, separation of city and school districts, and those separations are set up for a particular reason. This body is set up with voting members in a certain way for a specific reason too, for the very reason of why a mayor does not have the authority to say, whoop, I'm stopping construction because I have to get time to learn about something I don't know. And I'm begging people to be a part of a study to come up with something that he probably already has an idea of how he wants it to look. Is ridiculous. But I'm glad this is recorded so the public can see just what the city of Hartford does and stands on.
Ms. Browder, I again, always, I appreciate your comments. I do think it's that may not have been the most fair characterization, but again, I will continue to update this board as opposed to holding everyone here for a conversation, a back and forth conversation with Ms. Browdy and I and the team. I will continue to update this board as it relates to progress of construction.